Hello, my name is Teresa Blay, and this is my math center that I created. It is called Base 10 Blocks Who Has More, and I put it in a regular pencil box, and I went ahead and printed out the directions and just taped them onto the box so that the students can see the directions as soon as they pick up the box. It says for 2 to 3 players, players take turns rolling the dice twice. The first roll is to see how many 10s the player gets. The second roll is to see how many 1s they get. So inside the box, I have quite a few things in here. I have a scoreboard for the students to keep track, and the game is designed for 1 to 3 players. There is a dry erase marker so that they can keep score. There are several of the base 10 blocks, several of the 1s, and then dice. And so the object of the game is for students to roll the dice once, and I got a 1, so I would pick one base 10 block out of the container, and then I would roll it again to see what I would get for 1s. And I got a 3, so I would pull out 3. So I would have a total of, let me see, 1 base 10 block and then 3 1s. And so the students would take turns playing just to see who got more or who got less and keep points on that. The object of the center is for students to practice counting by 1s and 10s. They should be familiar with counting by 1s. 10s might be a little more difficult, but I'm hoping that they can figure out that maybe just by the name that it's a base 10 block, there's 10 blocks on there. If they need to count it, that's fine, figure it out. But once they figure out that there's 10 on here, I would like for them to count by 10s. So if they had 4 base 10 blocks, I don't want them to count every individual block on here. I want them to count 10, 20, 30, 40, and then add the 1s. A prerequisite skill needed to play the game is to be able to count by 1s, which they should be able to do that, and to count by 10s, which that might be a little more difficult for them, but this would help strengthen those skills in practicing. Using the base 10 blocks in the lesson, I am integrating math. The dice has numbers on it, so they're having to count and figure out how many base 10 blocks and how many 1s blocks to use in the lesson. Writing is integrated because they have to keep score and they have to do it correctly to see who wins the game. And some questions that I would ask if I were sitting with them during the center, I would ask, there's a base 10 block. Can you identify how many blocks there are? And then, like I said, if they have to count them, that's fine, but then I want them to know that there's 10 on there. I would ask, how do you know there's 10 blocks in a base 10 block? And maybe some of them would say because it's called a base 10 block or because I counted them. I will ask the students to compare the base 10 blocks with the 1s blocks and ask them what's the difference. If I have a bunch of these, is it the same as one of these? And how can you tell me that? Can you make the same amount of 1s blocks to equal 1 base 10 block? And how would you do that? Can you show me how to do that? So during this activity, it doesn't necessarily have to play the game. If I'm working with students for accommodations or modifications, I can just do that and ask them questions. Can you show me with the 1s blocks how to make 10? Can you show me how to make 5? And that can be used as a reteaching or enrichment activity. But I think that this is a good activity for students to play in groups of 1 to 3 students because they can collaborate with each other, they can work with each other and get ideas and learn how to play it. And like I said, it just builds those skills for counting. And my center goes along with the standards that I had put in the paper And I made sure to align the center with the KSDE content areas and standards.